Hi, I'm Sarah, and this training is how to lead an efficient and effective 1-hour church meeting. This is the third video, video number 3. In the first video, we talked about important concepts with church meetings, and that is that work does not happen at meetings. The second concept is that you as the leader own the decision. In the second video, I talked about the 3 different types of meetings, which are informational meetings, brainstorming sessions, and decision-making meetings. No matter what type of meeting you're hosting, you need to know in advance what type it is and be ready to go with the most efficient way to lead that type of meeting. In today's video, in this video, I am sharing with you some concerns that people have if the leader makes the majority of the decisions. Are people going to get mad and upset? The second thing we'll go over in this video is how to leave every meeting with a specific agenda and assigned tasks. And then finally, we'll do a review, and I've got a couple little tips in that review that you'll find really helpful, so you'll want to make sure and watch until the end. So let's just talk about some concerns that you might have. We're talking about here that the leader is ultimately responsible for the decision, and in fact might even make a lot of the decisions in advance of the meeting. Are people going to get mad? Will they be upset that you made the decisions? No. I have been doing this type of decision-making meetings, informational meetings, brainstorming meetings, me making a lot of the decisions before the meeting for several years now. I've led several groups, some small groups with just 2 or 3 people in our group, large groups with up to 30, 40, 50 people. People are exhausted from decisions. We make so many decisions constantly. And honestly, it's a relief to have someone else just move forward with leadership and make a decision. Also, you're getting buy-in from people before you make your decision, or you're getting their opinions, or you're getting their help, or you're getting their trusted advice. That could be one-on-one conversations, that could be emails, that could be getting their feedback after they read something. You're not making these decisions on your own. Rather, you might be getting the exact same decision making from the exact same people, but you're not doing it in the meeting. Because, as we talked about at the beginning, when you try to gather that many people together and make a decision, it just doesn't happen, and it's really difficult to move things forward. So go ahead, gather that information, and then make a decision or a preliminary decision and use the meeting primarily to assign tasks. Now, as far as assigning tasks, think of every meeting that you run as being in 3 parts. So we're talking about having a 1-hour meeting, so these are 20-minute blocks. The first 20 minutes and the second 20 minutes will vary depending on the type of meeting that you're running, how you want it to go. But that third 20-minute block is only and specifically for assigning tasks and being very clear about what each person's task is, what the responsibility, what you want to see happen by a set deadline, who they report to, any particular information that they need. So it might be helpful to set a timer on your phone to vibrate after the first 20 minutes or second 20 minutes. But definitely, you want something. Maybe you have someone remind you, say, hey, it's someone tell me when it's 7:40 so I can make sure to move on to this point. If it's a decision-making meeting, the first 20 minutes might be explaining information about the decision that's to be made. The second 20 minutes might be discussion. Then the third 20 minutes might be whatever comes next for you for an action plan. But this is where the work actually happens after the meeting. So rather than people leaving the meeting with a vague, oh, I think we're going to do this particular ministry in the next month, give people specific tasks during that 20 minutes. So that's how you'll make sure that there are tasks and there is an agenda moving forward for how you will get this ministry done. Also, you as the leader have the burden of follow-up. It's your responsibility to follow up in whatever way you have set up. If you ask people to email you, if you ask people to talk to you about it, if you are going to follow up with people after a set date, whatever your means of follow-up, but ultimately you as the leader are responsible. Does this method put more ownership on you as the leader? Yes, it does. You do have more responsibility both before and after the meeting, but the meetings will be so much more efficient and effective that it's well worth the time that you invest. One other note that I haven't mentioned up until this point is that when you're hosting a meeting, who is coming? The fewer people that come, the better, which is actually sometimes a relief for churches because getting volunteers can be a challenge. But the fewer people that come, the better, and only the people who absolutely need to be there. Having more people actually slows down your meeting and makes it harder to accomplish what you need to accomplish. All right, let's move on to some little tips and helps, and this is a review too. Number 1, make preliminary decisions before the meeting. This one, you as the leader own the decision. And then the second one, keep your meetings on time, move fast, and end on time. This is how you'll accomplish your 1 hour. Think of your meeting in 3 separate chunks of time and move forward through that time. Limit the number of people who attend. Only have the people come who need to be there. Then always be prepared in advance. You'll already be doing this by talking with people, getting information, making preliminary decisions. Come with an agenda. People will help you move forward on the agenda if they have it in front of them and have read it. They want to be on board with leaving in an hour and getting out on time too. The goal of your meeting is to walk away with a specific action plan. Don't host a meeting unless you have a plan that at the end you will have a specific action plan. Every single person should know what that action plan is, know what each person's roles and tasks are to accomplish that, when they need to be accountable by, whatever other information, but walk away with a specific action plan. And then informational meetings. Do you need to have them? It's possible you don't need to have them at all. If you do have them, recognize what they are. It's an informational meeting and count the cost. And then finally, brainstorming adds balance to your meetings. This is probably one of the least done meetings in churches, but can be one of the most beneficial. This is a great time to get people's ideas. And sometimes I'll use ideas from a brainstorming session 6 or 8 or 12 months later when I'll jot down things people say and then I'll use that as part of my decision making. All of that goes into my decision making, and I can let them know that too, so they definitely feel part of the decision. So those are some helpful tips as well as a review. We talked about why church meetings drag on and how to make your meetings finish efficiently and effectively in an hour. You as the leader own the decision. You recognize that work does not happen in meetings. It happens before and after meetings. You learned the 3 different types of meetings, which are informational, brainstorming, and decision making. And you learned how to walk away from every meeting with a specific agenda. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sarah.